Здравствуйте. Сегодня у нас в гостях основатель группы...
Извините, а вы можете чуть громче или как-то? Мы очень тихо начали.
Хорошо. Здравствуйте. Сегодня у нас в гостях основатель группы «Назарет», несменяемый бас-гитарист Пит Огнью. И мы очень рады этой возможности задать несколько вопросов. Mr. Pete Agnew, you are welcome here in Orenburg in our TV station and as well radio on air. And I would ask you several questions. So you are in your anniversary 50 years tour. By the way, when did it start and how long it will take?
The tour
Yeah.
that we're doing, the tour started, we actually started in the Czech Republic. We came away from home on the 6th of March, and 6th of February, sorry, I've got my months mixed up.
This year?
This year we started there. That's how this tour started. So we've only done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've only done five shows so far. This is the 6th show. We'll be here in Orenburg. So it's not a very long tour. We've got another 10 shows, I think, to do, 11 shows to do. And then we've another 2 shows in the Czech Republic and Slovakia before we go home. So it's not a very long tour, it's about 3 weeks altogether.
And after that?
After that, we've got a few weeks off, and then we actually come back. We've got some shows in March. We have most of March we have off, and in April we come back. We do some shows in Sweden and Norway, and then we come up to Russia again. So we're back in. We go away from Russia and we come back again.
So you are a touring group. Is there a country over the world where you have not been yet, and where you are eager to make a show?
No, the only place that we've never ever played, we've never played in Australia. We've been asked many times to go there. But usually when we've been offered an Australian tour, something else has come up, and so it's one of these things we've never ever made it there. So it's not one that I can actually say. Every place else we've played in some crazy places. I mean, we've played in Greenland, we've played in we've played Mongolia, we've played places that you never think about playing, with a rock band. We've been to India, we've been to all these Africa, but we've never been to Australia. That's the only one.
I think it will fulfill.
I don't know.
Nearest
I don't know. It's a long way down there. We were offered some shows there about a few weeks ago. Somebody offered us some shows, and we looked at it and we're thinking, oh man, that's a long time. It takes 20, 30 hours, flying to get there. So I don't know if I could face it.
So you've told about several strange places where you have made a show. And what was the strangest?
Oh, I mean, I think we just did a festival 3 months ago in India, way up in the mountains. Way up in the northeast of India, and Manipur, and that was really wild. I mean, the road to go there was incredible. You couldn't believe it. It took more than 3 hours to go 40 kilometers, on this road, and we got there, and you think, who's going to be here? Because it's so remote up this hill, and there was 50,000 people at this show that we did. So that was quite something. That was very something, and it was just the beginning of the rainy season, so we saw the very heavy Indian rains, washing everything away. It was very memorable, very memorable.
Your visit to Russia started in 1990.
That's right.
And after that, you have been touring over the country for many times. Even in Orenburg, you are for the second time, aren't you?
We've been, I mean, it's so funny, we have a kind of joke with Russians, and they'll say, have you played, and they'll mention a town, have you played in something? We just say, do they have electricity? And they say, well, we've done it then, Now we've been to so many towns, so many cities in Russia, and every time we look at a map and you see a place, oh yeah, we played there. Oh yeah, we played there. You know, over the 30 years. I mean, I think I've been here in the 30 years. We must have been 50 times. You know, doing different lengths of tours. Sometimes we've been here. We've done a 5-week tour. You know, which like is a long time for touring the country from the west to the east and back again.
So practically you learned geography, especially in Russia,
Well,
much better than you did it in your school days.
yeah. Well, the thing is, it's so funny, you know, because I mean, we played. We live in Scotland, you know, and one of our closest big cities, Dundee, and there's another one, Aberdeen. And they're big cities that are close to where we live in Edinburgh. And I've played in Moscow more times than I've played in Dundee, you know, and more times than I've played in Aberdeen. So what does that tell you, you know? It's just incredible, you know.
So let's speak about music. I heard that you told once that you dislike the modern gadgets and the way the music spread nowadays, comparing with the way it did in 70s, in 90s, when they sold albums on records, cassettes, later CDs, etc. That means physically just you can touch your album. And nowadays it's all through internet.
Yeah. It's, I mean, the internet has destroyed the music business, completely destroyed the music business, because nobody sells records anymore now. If you bring a record out, it's really just a gift to your fans, because nobody needs to pay for it. They can just download everything. I've got a son who's 30 years old, one of my sons, and he loves music, and he's never bought music in his life, because they just stream it. They just get it off stream. And what happens there is all these people get all this free music. The record companies don't make any money, so then the record companies don't spend any money to develop new acts, you know, new young bands that are coming out. So for a young band now, when they want to make a record, you know, if they make a record, you know, there's nobody to sell it to, because they all get it for free, you know. The record company doesn't make any money, so these guys can't go on tour. How do they, you know, it's just, they can't get famous enough to tour except through the internet, live. So it's all down to live playing now, you know. Making records, you know, like I say, it doesn't mean the same as it did back in those days. And like you say, it's I mean, myself, I still buy records, you know, and I quite like the fact that, you know, a lot of the vinyl stuff has come back again. And it was always nice to have an album and you know, and physically hold it and read the notes and stuff. And same, even with the CDs, you get the little booklets and things, you know, you could do it. But now, even if you pay for a track, I mean, I do it when I've got, on my phone, I've got tracks, you know, that I get off iTunes, you know, but I buy them, you know, and I've got them on there. And I can listen to them, you know, but it's different from, I mean, it's handy, it's good when you're travelling, you can listen. But I still like to, when I'm playing music in the house at home, I like to sit and look at the album, you know.
What style of music do you like to listen to?
Everything. I mean, it's so much. I mean, I mean, I like everything. Tom Waits. I like just everything. You know, I mean, my favourite band of all time was Little Feat, who was always a big favourite of Nazareth, the old Nazareth. But all the bands from that era. A lot of singer-songwriters or that kind of thing. I mean, the one sort of music that never ever really got to me is the heavy metal stuff. It never really appealed to me. You know, I've never been a big heavy metal fan. You know, I never really was much interested in that. I like my music a little bit more mellow, or rock and roll, rock, rhythm and blues, that kind of thing. You know.
Could you say that rock music is still developing? And what are new ideas maybe in rock music?
Well, to tell you the truth, I don't really go out looking for new ideas anymore, you know. I'm listening to my favourite tracks. If something comes up, if somebody says to me, oh, you should listen to, you know, such and such a person, then I'll listen, you know, because somebody tells me. But I don't go searching for new music. I mean, I'm 73. You know? I'm not looking for new thrills. You know, I know the music I like, and if someone does come up, for instance, you know, I'm willing to I tell you, a couple of years ago, we played with a band that I'd never come across, but Rival Sons, they were called, American band. And I mean, I'd heard the name, but I'd never really heard their music, you know. And we played a show with them in France, and I saw these guys, and I was absolutely knocked out. I thought they were absolutely fabulous. So I bought everything that they made, you know. So I discovered a new old band, if you like, because they've been around for maybe, I don't know, 10, 12 years or something. So I do discover stuff that's new, but the new young bands, I mean, I don't really go out and try and find them, you know. If somebody comes and says to me, listen to that, then I'll listen to it, you know.
Yeah, but new bands, they are already making new music. For example, you have made your 24th album, Tattooed on the Brain. What did inspire you? What was the inspiration?
And the thing is, the thing is, with Tattooed on My Brain, what happened? We had Dan, our original singer, had to retire, you know, a few years ago, 6, 7 years ago now. And we got a new singer, you know, and you want to make a new album with the lineup that you have, you know, with the new lineup. So we wanted to make an album with Carol, you know. So obviously he was writing songs, and we had been writing songs. And the thing is, even you always write songs, you know. It's a thing you do. You don't really sort of really think about it, you know. You're always, if you've written songs, people will know what I'm talking about. If you like to compose, you'll always do that anyway, even if you're not going to record them. So we had written quite a bit of songs, quite a few songs, and he'd written quite a few songs. And we thought it was time to do an album to let our public see this band recorded, you know. So that's how that album came about. And I mean, we'll probably we'll make another album as well. I mean, it's always good. I was saying earlier, when you're doing albums now, it really is, you don't do albums to make money, you know. You do albums to be creative, you know, and to let people know that you still mean something, you know. You're not just sitting back and playing your old hits, you know. It's nice to see the band still got imagination, you know, and you can only prove that by bringing out new records. So I think it kind of keeps the band thinking younger.
Jan Rooye was the producer of the album. I mean, your last album, but he was of several previous albums.
Yeah, I know.
He is from the different generation, and did he have any effect on the music you played during the recording?
No, he's not so much. Well, yeah. I mean, his approach to recording that's the reason we've had him on. So, that's 4 albums we've had him on now. We really love working with Jan. He's a great musician, and he's got really good ears. You know.
How old is he?
Well, when I first recorded with him, he was only 26, so he must be about
26.
He's 36 now, I think. He's 36. Oh. But when we first met him, Dan and I went to meet him in Switzerland. Somebody said, we've got this producer for you, we'd like you to meet him. We think he'd be good for you. And we're in Zurich, and we went to the studio outside of Zurich. And this guy come to meet us, and we thought, hello, it was nice to meet you, son. We were waiting to meet the producer. We thought this was somebody that worked in the
like a legend.
This was the guy. And he was like a kid. He really was so young looking, you know. He was a very young looking 26. It's okay, we made him look older after working with us for a while.
So when you started, there were lots of groups which became legends. I know that you toured with Deep Purple in 1972. And what were the relationship between you and Mark II of Deep Purple?
Well, the Deep Purple, when we first met them, we were the resident. We weren't called in Nazareth. We had a different name. We were a resident band in a ballroom in Scotland, in our hometown, and they came to play as guests. So that's the first time we met the guys, and they were nice enough guys. And then when we actually became, you know, a full-time recording band, the very first tour we did in America was Deep Purple took us as the opening, as an opening band. And you know, the first time you go to America, it's quite a big thing, you know. And these guys had been quite a lot, you know. So they were very, very nice to us. They were very good with us. They really were very kind, very nice guys, and we got on very well with them, you know. And so we became good friends after that tour. And then they asked us to come and tour with them in Britain as well. After that, and of course, that's when we got very friendly with them, and that's when Roger, the bass player, became our producer to do our third and fourth and fifth albums, you know. So there's a big, you know, there's a big tie with Deep Purple and Nazareth because of all that, you know. I mean, there's a lot of other bands that we were friendly with at the time, but these guys, they kind of affected our life, you know, by the fact that we had one of their guys be our producer, and especially it was our first hit album. You know, Roger actually worked on the first album, our first hit songs, you know. So it was very important. It was a big milestone in our life.
And what were the connections with another group, for example, Led Zeppelin, Uriah Heep?
Uriah Heep. Zeppelin, I never. When we know them, we'd met them at a couple of parties, really. You know, they came to one of our parties, but I never actually played on the same bill as Zeppelin. You know, usually when you meet a lot of the other groups, certainly used to be like festivals. All these festivals that they have all over the place in Europe, they were a great meeting point for all the bands. You know, so you would meet up with each other quite a lot at these things. And Uriah Heep's one of the bands that we used to play with quite a lot. We used to meet them quite a lot, and we became very good friends of theirs. And eventually, what we did is we used to go out with them and us as a double bill in Europe, and we would have it was we call a flip flop tour. So we would open one night and they would close the show, and then the next night they open and we close the show, and we used to do it like that. And we used to do these very, very big long tours, and we'd done that. Oh, we must have did that maybe 3-4 times. We did that. In fact, we just did a tour with them, and we just finished a tour in January. It was a big long tour in Germany. We did 14 shows with Uriah Heep and us and Wishbone Ash. And that's another band that's been around a long time, and we know them very well. And because they all started at the same time as us, you know, everybody started around about 68, 69, 70, around about that time when all these bands were starting out. So we were all playing the same clubs, you know, and the Marquee in London was one of the famous ones. So, you know, Uriah Heep would be on one night, Nazareth the next night, Wishbone Ash the next night, you know, Motorhead, well, not some Motorhead was a wee bit later, but all these bands were all playing, and we were all playing the same clubs around London and around the country. So you all got to meet each other, and a lot of the times you used the same agents, the same booking agents. So again, you know, you were meeting each other all the time. So mostly everybody kind of met everybody else. You know.
And what about the Beatles? Did they stay?
No, they'd actually broken up by the time we became a recording band, you know. I mean, the Beatles didn't really tour with other bands. That was a different phenomenon, you know. When the Beatles and the Stones started the big pop thing that was going through the 60s, though they used to have these package shows, I suppose, in there, but, you know, they didn't come out and do the kind of tours that people do now, you know. It wasn't like that. It was a very big deal when they go and play Shea Stadium or something like that, you know. But nobody ever, I don't think anybody said, oh, we were the support band for the Beatles, you know. They did, the Stones, yeah, you know. We come very close to playing with them. They asked us to play 3 shows with them out in California, but unfortunately we couldn't do it. Or we would have played on the same bill as them, but those 2 bands still remain the legends, if you like, you know. They're the sort of the untouchables, you know.
Mr. Roger Glover, when he became your producer, did he bring any ideas from Deep Purple?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, he influenced us a lot. I mean, we got a producer in because we had done 2 albums, you know, and they were okay, but we weren't really happy with them. You know, we weren't happy with how we recorded, and we needed to get someone that really knew how to use the recording studio better than we did, and we learned a lot from Roger, you know, and about the recording process and how to record properly, you know, how to do the things. So the physical recording itself, he was he had very definite ideas about structure in a song, how a song should be structured, and he had very. He got a lot from us as well. I mean, he still says that these days. We influenced him a lot in our way of thinking about music, but he influenced us a lot in his way of thinking about recording,
But your first, well-spread album, The Hair of the Dog, was published after he departed.
Well, we'd done 3 albums then. You see, we'd done Razamanaz and Loud and Proud and Rampant, and we figured that we'd done just about everything we wanted to do with Roger, and he was the same with us. And Manny, our guitar player, he was always more interested in the recording side than anybody else, and he wanted to produce, an album. So we thought it was time, to give him a go, and so Manny produced Hair of the Dog.
So imagine on one hand there's Jan Ruye, on the other hand Roger Glover as a new producer and the old one, and comparing their techniques, their way of working, etc. What's the difference, and what's something between them?
Well, you see, the thing is, when we met Jan, we're saying Jan was only 26, but we were in our 60s. But when we met Roger, we were all 26, and so was Roger. So, so when we were just meeting Jan when we were older guys, but he was the same age as we were when we were making those records with Roger, And I suppose he still had the same fire, when he still had that same drive that you do have when you're younger. It's very hard to keep that fire burning, when you go to make another album. I mean, I don't care what anybody says, but if they can tell me they're as excited about making their 25th album as they were when they made their 3rd, I don't believe them. It's a different thing. It's a different thing. It's a different feeling.
So your last album, Tattooed on the Brain, you are playing songs from it, and from 70s. What are in your repertoire?
Sorry? What?
You played songs on the tour from your last album, and from 70s or 80s. What songs do you include in your tour, into your concert?
Well, you see, that's me telling secrets, and nobody will come. But
really?
No. No, we do 3 songs from the new album. When you do a new album, people would like to hear some new songs, but they don't want to hear too many, because when people come to this concert, they want to hear the hits. They want to hear the stuff that they'd bought, the songs that they'd heard all their life. So you've got to balance a concert, where you're giving them old stuff and new stuff, and so we try and do that, and try and spread the music out from different albums. But we do, I think it's 18 songs. We do 90 minutes. We do like 3 from the new album. We do 3 tracks. Well, we do Tattoo on My Brain, which is the title track.
The title.
Dance with the Devil. We do Change, another one called Change, and then the other songs are a kind of assortment of different from different albums, and also when we play Russia. See what happens with we get different hits in different countries. For instance, like when the Rolling Stones have a hit, it's a hit. The one hit's a hit everywhere, all over the world. Well, we've had different things happening. We can have a huge hit in Brazil, but it wasn't a hit in America, or it wasn't a hit in Germany. We can get a big hit in Germany, but it wasn't a hit in Canada. That kind of thing. So we try and construct our live set, for the countries that we're playing in. Now, there's songs that are much more famous, if you like, in Russia than they are in other countries. So we include them in the Russian set, and I'm not going to tell you which ones they are, but we do that. We there is a different set here than what we would play in another country, for instance.
Well, thank you, and I hope that those who listen to our talk will visit your
pleasure.
concert.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey.
Большое спасибо. У нас в гостях был Пит Огнью, основатель и бессменный гитарист, бас-гитарист группы Nazareth.